She was standing in the kitchen, barefoot on the polished tile floor, wearing that silk robe I bought her for our 10th anniversary. It was 6:42 a.m. Monday. I remember because I'd just put on my watch and was reaching for my briefcase when I turned the corner and saw her there, smiling at her phone. Jessica never smiled like that in the mornings. And she never drank champagne at that hour. Yet there it was, a crystal flute in her hand, bubbles rising to the top like some celebration was underway. Her hair was still tousled from bed, but I knew it wasn't from sleeping alone. No wedding ring. No good morning. Just a glance up and, oh, you're still here. That's when it happened. Not a loud moment. No yelling, no scene. Just something inside me snapped. Not like glass breaking. More like a cable under too much tension, finally giving way. For 13 years we'd been married. 15 together. We'd fought, made up, built a life. Raised a daughter. Mortgaged a house. Shared holidays. Smiled for photos. Survived COVID, even. But in that one moment, with that one look, I saw it was over. Not fixable. Not worth saving. I didn't have proof yet. Didn't need it. That look said everything. Early meeting? I asked, my voice steady, almost curious. Jessica shrugged, sipping her drink. Not really. Just felt like dressing up for myself. As she leaned on the counter, her robe shifted, and there it was. A faint outline of a hickey above her collarbone. Bold. Unashamed. I didn't flinch. Didn't speak. Just watched her. I need to tell you something, she said suddenly. Casual, like reporting the weather. I nodded. Go ahead. She tilted her head, gave me a smile, pitying. Almost maternal. That was the worst part. It's time we stop pretending this marriage is working, she said. I've met someone who actually sees me. I didn't interrupt. Didn't ask who. Didn't even look away. I wanted her to keep talking. He's smart. Driven. Not stuck in the same damn job for 10 years. He listens to me, Ryan. She gave a soft laugh. I forgot what that felt like. There it was. The knife. And she twisted it with ease. What's his name? I asked. Voice even. She blinked, thrown for half a second. Does it matter? It does to me. She sighed, almost annoyed. Zach. A name I didn't know. Not a friend. Not a colleague. Not some old ex. A stranger. Which meant this wasn't some one-night mistake or a midlife crisis. This was a parallel life, something carefully constructed behind my back. How long? I asked. Another shrug. Long enough. And then, the sentence that would tattoo itself on my brain forever. You're dead weight, Ryan. I've outgrown you. Not shouted. Not cruel. Just matter of fact, like tossing out an old coat. I nodded. Just once. Then turned, poured myself a glass of water. My hands didn't shake. My voice didn't crack. But inside, something cold was taking shape. Not rage. Not grief. Strategy. Jessica didn't see it. Thought she'd broken me. That I'd beg. Cry. Fight. But no. The wheels were already turning in my head. I wasn't going to fight for love. I was going to burn her little world to the ground. Quietly. Precisely. And Monday morning was just getting started. I didn't go to work that day. Instead, I sat in my truck 2 blocks from our house, engine off, watching the front door like a stranger. The sun was barely up. Streets still wet from a light rain. I wasn't shaking. Wasn't angry. Just focused. Like before a big presentation, when you've rehearsed every word and know exactly what you'll say. At 9:17 a.m., a dark gray Tesla pulled into the driveway. A man stepped out. Tall, lean. Black jacket, jeans, expensive watch. Coffee in both hands. He didn't knock. Just typed in the door code. Walked right in. She gave him the damn code. That was the final confirmation I needed. This wasn't new. This was routine. I didn't follow. Didn't charge in. I took out my phone and snapped 3 photos. Car, plates, face. Evidence. Simple. Clean. I waited 20 more minutes, then drove to my brother's garage across town. He runs a detailing shop. Has a small office. Quiet. Secure. I locked myself in, turned off my phone, and began. First stop, the bank. 6 months of joint account statements. Printed. Thick stack. I already knew what I'd find, but seeing it in black and white was different. Hotel charges. Spa visits. Jewelry stores I'd never heard of. Lunches and dinners in neighborhoods I'd never been invited to. Plane tickets to Denver, Chicago, booked when she claimed to be at corporate retreats. It was all there. Line by line, I highlighted each transaction. Date, time, location, matched it against her texts on my backup phone. Yes, I'd been backing up her old phone to a cloud account for months, an old IT trick I never told her about. Patterns emerged. Days matched. Alibis crumbled. Second stop, an old friend. Ethan. We hadn't spoken in years. He works in cybersecurity now, freelance. Owed me a favor from way back. One text, need a quiet job. No questions. His reply came in 2 minutes. When and where? By 2 p.m., we were in a coffee shop downtown. I slid him a folded paper with Jessica's iCloud email. Can you get in? He gave a dry smile. Give me 2 hours. And 2 hours later, I had access. Full access. Photos. Videos. Voice memos. Texts to Zach. Screenshots of trips booked. Calendar invites with fake meeting titles. She wasn't even careful anymore. Overconfidence. That was her weakness. I copied everything to an encrypted drive. Created a timeline. March 15th, Hotel Indigo, 2 nights. April 4th, spa day, charged $1,200. May 1st to 3rd, business retreat, actually Denver with Zach. And the voice memos. That's what nearly broke my calm. I wasn't expecting them, but there they were. Little recordings she sent to him. Sweet, breathy whispers. Dirty, cruel, and one that burned into my mind. He still thinks we're fine. I swear, Zach, Ryan is so clueless. He made me dinner last night like some golden retriever. God, it's pathetic. I paused the recording, closed my eyes, breathed. No emotion, just fuel. By sunset, I had everything I needed to start the collapse. I wasn't going to confront her that night. That would be giving her control again. She wanted control, thrived on reaction. But I wasn't reacting anymore. I was collecting. That evening, I did one more thing. I drafted an email to a top family law attorney in Seattle, one with a reputation for ironclad asset protection. Subject line, urgent consultation request, high-profile divorce. I attached nothing yet, just asked for a meeting. Then I drove home. Jessica was already asleep, or pretending to be. The Tesla was gone. I poured a whiskey, sat in the dark living room, and I wrote one word at the top of my notebook. Dominoes. Because now it was a matter of which one to tip first. Tuesday morning, 5:30 a.m. I was already awake. Coffee. Black. No sugar. Jessica slept in or stayed out late. I didn't care which. I sat at the kitchen island, laptop open, notebook beside me. The night before, after gathering the evidence, I'd barely slept, but not from nerves. From focus. The kind of focus that sharpens when you know the enemy is already inside the gates. Time to set the board. First priority, the finances. Jessica loved to spend. Lived on Instagram, surrounded by boss babe types who flaunted luxury like it was air. But what she didn't know, I'd quietly built a separate LLC 3 years ago. Originally for a side project, but now, a perfect vehicle. At 6:15 a.m., I logged in. Moved $92,500 from our joint savings into a business escrow account under my LLC. Legal. Traceable. Protected. Not theft protection. I left enough in the joint account for optics. Just enough to cover the mortgage and utilities for the month. Second priority, the legal strike. At 8 a.m., my phone buzzed. The attorney, Daniel Harper, replied. He had a 2 p.m. slot open, private office, no staff present. High-profile clients. Discreet. Perfect. I confirmed. In the meantime, I drafted a detailed timeline. Keycap 1 dates of affairs, Keycap 2 financial abuse, use of joint funds for affair, Keycap 3 emotional abuse, gaslighting, humiliation, Keycap 4 potential reputation risks, recordings, cloud evidence, social media discrepancies. Third priority, her career. Jessica's world wasn't built on money, it was built on image. Her job as a marketing director at a major Seattle firm gave her validation. Titles. Influence. Invitations to speak at panels. That's where the first domino would fall. Not through rage. Through a whisper. I created an anonymous email, seattlewatchdog@protonmail.com. Drafted the message. Subject, concerning employee conduct, Jessica Carter. Dear Company Ethics Officer, I am writing anonymously to alert you to potential violations of your company's code of ethics involving employee Jessica Carter. It has come to light that Jessica has been using company equipment and resources, including her laptop and company-paid travel, to conduct personal and potentially compromising activities unrelated to her role. There is ample cloud-based evidence of this conduct, including personal recordings and misuse of business travel. As a shareholder and concerned professional in this city, I suggest a quiet internal review. No attachments. No hard proof yet. Just enough to plant doubt. I scheduled the email to send Wednesday at 8:15 a.m., right before their weekly executive meeting. By 1:30 p.m., my notebook was filled with arrows and connections. Dominoes, ready to fall. Money Egg Money, Protected Balance Scale Legal, In Motion Office Building Career, Compromised Performing Arts Image, about to crack. At 2 p.m., I walked into Daniel Harper's office. Tall building, tinted windows, private elevator. He greeted me with a firm handshake. Late 40s, crisp suit, calm eyes. A man who'd seen worse than this. You came prepared, he said, eyeing the folder I handed him. I'm not here to play games, I replied. He spent 20 minutes reviewing the materials. When he looked up, his tone had changed. Professional respect. You have an open and shut case. Financial infidelity, emotional abuse, misuse of marital funds. And with her reputation on the line, he leaned back. She won't want this in court. Exactly what I wanted to hear. We outlined the plan. Keycap 1 file for divorce. With full evidence attached. Keycap 2 motion to protect premarital assets. The house was in my name pre-marriage. Keycap 3 requests sole control of financial accounts pending resolution. Keycap 4 prepare settlement terms. Either sign quietly or face court plus public exposure. By 4:30 p.m., the paperwork was in progress. When I left the office, the city felt different, crisper, sharper, like the first cold day of autumn when the air finally clears. Jessica didn't know it yet, but her little empire was already cracking. And I wasn't done. Not even close. Wednesday, 7 a.m. I was up before the sun died. Didn't sleep much. Didn't need to. I wasn't running on adrenaline anymore. This was colder, sharper. Like standing at a chessboard and seeing 3 moves ahead, knowing your opponent hadn't even realized the game had begun. I watched Jessica leave for work at 7:30. Hair perfect. Designer heels. The image of success. She kissed our daughter on the cheek, not knowing the foundation of her curated life was about to crack wide open. 8:15 a.m. The scheduled email concerning employee conduct went out to her company's ethics officer. No proof yet. No hard accusations. Just a seed of doubt. I knew exactly how these things worked. Boardroom whispers were more lethal than any memo. Once suspicion took root, it spread fast. By 9 a.m., I was in my truck downtown, coffee in hand, watching, waiting. At 9:37 a.m., it started. My phone buzzed, an unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. Then Jessica texted me. Hey, did you touch anything on my work laptop? It's acting weird. Of course it was. I hadn't touched it, but now her mind was spinning. I didn't reply. At 10:15 a.m., another text. Ryan, seriously, did you do something? Someone sent an anonymous email about me. HR just pulled me in. There it was. First domino down. While she panicked, I had other work to do. Step 2. Tightening the financial noose. I met Daniel Harper again, this time to formally file the divorce papers. He added a request for a temporary restraining order on joint accounts, giving me sole access until the court hearing. Once this hits, she won't have time to react, Daniel said. She'll be too busy saving face. Good. That was the point. By lunchtime, Jessica's messages had shifted tone. 11:42 a.m. Ryan, please. We need to talk. You're going too far. 12:08 p.m. Call me. We can work this out. Please don't ruin everything. I sipped my coffee and ignored each one. It wasn't about ruining her. It was about balance, about watching the person who thought they held all the cards realize they'd been bluffing with a losing hand. 1:30 p.m. Through an old contact at her company, I'd done some consulting for them years ago, I heard. Jessica had been quietly pulled from 2 client accounts that morning. Her calendar was suddenly under review. I smiled. The game was progressing faster than expected. When Jessica came home that night, the shift in her was visible. Usually she'd sweep in, heels clicking, all self-importance and control. But tonight, she moved slower. I starting. Phone gripped too tightly. She barely looked at me. Didn't speak. Instead, she poured a glass of wine and retreated to her office, probably trying to do damage control. What she didn't know, damage was already done. The first public crack had appeared. Now the rest would follow. That night, one more chess move. I contacted a private investigator, Dean Kessler. Ex-cop. Military background. Discreet. Ruthless. I want a full background on Zach. I told him. Past, present, and how deep this goes. He simply nodded. 3 days. You'll have it. When I went to bed, Jessica was still up, pacing in her office, whispering frantically into her phone. I lay in the dark, eyes open, calm, because the first strike had landed, and the cracks were spreading. Next move? Timing the collapse. Thursday morning. 6:10 a.m. I was up early again. No alarm. Just habit now. Poured a coffee. Sat at the dining table. Jessica hadn't slept much. I heard her pacing half the night. At one point, doors opened and closed upstairs. She was unraveling. I checked my email. Daniel Harper's team had confirmed. White heavy checkmark divorce papers ready. White heavy checkmark financial freeze request filed. White heavy checkmark preliminary hearing scheduled for next week. The board was set. At 6:42 a.m., Jessica texted again. Ryan, can we please talk? Face to face. I'm begging you. No more arrogance now. No, I've outgrown you. Just panic behind the words. I took another sip of coffee. No reply. 8:05 a.m. Another text. They've suspended me from client work. Someone is spreading lies, Ryan. Please, we can fix this. Lies? No, Jessica. Just truths you thought no one would find. By 9:30 a.m., I got a call from Dean Kessler. We've got a profile on Zach. Summary. Married. 2 kids. Suburban house in Bellevue. Wife's name, Kelly. Jessica wasn't the only one living a double life. Want me to reach out to her? Dean asked. I thought for a moment, then nodded. Yes. Carefully. Because once Kelly knew, Jessica's entire web would start collapsing from the outside. That afternoon, Jessica tried a different approach. 1:22 p.m., a voicemail. Ryan, please. I never wanted this to get ugly. We've both made mistakes. Let's just sit down, talk about the future. We can make this private. No need to ruin each other. We've both made mistakes. Amazing how quickly her affair became our mistake when consequences arrived. 3 p.m. Daniel called. Papers were couriered to the house, set to arrive tomorrow morning. You want us to notify her first? He asked. I shook my head. No warning. Let the envelope do the talking. That night, Jessica finally cracked. She came downstairs around 9:15 p.m., no heels, no makeup. Just sweats and a t-shirt. Hair tied up hastily. She stood in the doorway, hands gripping her phone. Ryan, can we please talk? Just 5 minutes. Her voice wavered. First time I'd heard real fear in it. I set down my book. Looked up calmly. Talk about what, Jess? She swallowed hard. This isn't you. You don't want to destroy me. Please, we were friends once. Please. Friends. Now that her curated life was collapsing, now I was supposed to be a friend? I stood. Took my coffee mug to the sink. Jessica, I said quietly, turning to face her. You already destroyed this. I'm just sweeping up the pieces. She blinked, lips parted, stunned at the coldness in my voice. No rage. No pleading. Just certainty. 10:30 p.m. Final text of the night from her. Ryan, I'm so sorry. Please. One chance. Don't do this. Too late. The papers were coming. In the next domino, Kelly was about to fall. Friday morning. 7:12 a.m. A soft knock at the door. I was already dressed, casual, calm. Opened it to find the courier standing there, envelope in hand. Divorce papers. I signed for them. Brought the envelope inside. Set it on the counter. Waited. Jessica came down 15 minutes later. Clearly hadn't slept. Messy bun. Dark circles under her eyes. Saw the envelope. Stopped cold. "What's that?" she asked quietly. I didn't answer. Just slid it toward her. She stared at it. Pale. Lips trembling. Then slowly reached out, hands shaking. When she read the first page, her knees almost buckled. "You filed," she whispered. "Yes." She looked up at me, tears forming now. "Ryan, please. You don't have to do this. We can fix this. We can go to counseling." I shook my head. There's no we anymore. Meanwhile, Bellevue. At 10:22 a.m., Dean Kessler texted me. "Kelly's been informed. She has the proof. She asked for your number, permission to call?" "Yes." 11:05 a.m. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered. "Ryan." "Speaking. This is Kelly." Her voice was tight, but controlled. "Dean showed me everything. I had no idea. Neither had I once." We spoke for 20 minutes. I kept it factual, timeline, proof, no embellishment. When I finished, Kelly exhaled sharply. "He told me you were abusive," she said softly. "That Jessica was scared of you." I felt my jaw tighten. "Not true." "I know," she replied. "I hear it in your voice. And I saw the recordings." "He's done." Pause. "I'm filing Monday," Kelly added. "He's not coming back into my house." One more domino. Back home. 2:15 p.m. Jessica had shut herself in her office for hours. No footsteps. No phone calls now. At 3:07 p.m., she finally emerged, pale, tear-streaked, clutching her phone like a lifeline. "Ryan." Her voice cracked. "Kelly knows. Zach's freaking out. He won't answer me. Please, can we talk? Please." I stood, looked her in the eye. "There's nothing left to talk about, Jessica." She broke, then collapsed into a chair, full sobs. Not tears of guilt. Not grief for me. Tears for her own fall. Her shattered image. The empire she'd built on lies, crumbling fast. That evening, another text from Daniel Harper. "HR at her company has opened a formal investigation. Quiet, but serious. Perfect." By 10 p.m., Jessica had stopped trying to beg. Just sat in the dark living room, staring blankly at her phone. She knew. It was over. The life she curated gone. And I felt nothing but clarity. 1 week later, Jessica was gone. She'd moved out 3 days after the papers arrived, packed in silence. No more begging, no more tears. Just emptiness. Her office was stripped bare. Closet half empty. The house was quiet now. Peaceful. The divorce hearing was set, uncontested. With the evidence I'd provided, her attorney had advised sign quickly, settle quietly. No spousal support. No claims on my business assets. The house stayed mine, premarital property, protected. Jessica's job? On indefinite leave pending investigation. Kelly had filed for her own divorce. Zach was served 2 days ago. Their little world had collapsed from every angle. And me? For the first time in months, maybe years, I could breathe. No more second-guessing. No more walking on eggshells. I'd spent years thinking maybe I'm not enough. Maybe I should try harder. But no, this wasn't about me. It was about someone who chose betrayal over honesty, image over integrity. And when the mask fell, there was nothing underneath worth saving. I spent more time with my daughter now. Quiet dinners. Walks to the park. She didn't know all the details, only that mom and dad need space. That's all a child should have to carry. As for me, I started rebuilding. Focused back on my business, stronger than ever. Hit the gym again, not for vanity, but for clarity. Cleared the house. Cleared my mind. One night, about a month after it all broke, I sat on the back porch, glass of whiskey in hand, watching the Seattle skyline fade into dusk. Phone buzzed. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. A minute later, text came through. "Ryan, it's Jessica. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. For everything. I hope someday you can forgive me." I stared at the screen for a long moment. No anger. No bitterness. Just peace. I didn't reply. Some doors, once closed, stay closed. Life moves forward. Not perfectly. Not neatly. But forward. You don't heal from betrayal. You grow past it. You learn. You sharpen. And next time, you spot the cracks before the house tilts. The end of one life and the start of another. And this time, no blind trust. No golden retriever loyalty. This time, I see the board. And I know how to play.